Good evening, everybody. Welcome to season 4, episode 5, overall 36 of the Small Talk podcast, a once a month entertainment talk show hosted by yours truly, Chris Pame, and my co host, Marlene Sharp, with a diverse lineup of guests and conversations. And I'm going to bring on our co host right now here on this Thursday, May 28th, 2026. And we're going to bring on our co-host right now. Before we bring her on, I got to use one of the little new gadgets I got on here from StreamYard. I'm trying to figure it all out, and we're going to put it on right now. Good evening, Marlene. How are you?
Applause for the applause. That's a wonderful trick. I love it.
Yes, and they got a number of new little gadgets here on StreamYard. So every day now, StreamYard's kind of doing things with your site. As for the phone thing, they do say you can use it with your phone, but ideally they prefer you to use your laptop. But I've had guests that have used their phone too, so I do apologize that you had a glitch there tonight. So StreamYard's always updating stuff all the time, and I have to stay on it.
Yes. Thank you for staying on it. That's why we're a good team, because you're the tech genius and I'm just the personality.
Genius, no. I didn't even know what Wi-Fi was 15 years ago, so I'm still.
I don't think it was invented 15 years ago, so don't worry. Yeah. Nobody knew.
And by the way, I'm excited. Next Friday, I will be at one of the biggest comic cons in North America, in Niagara Falls Comic Con, and I'm hoping to interview some celebrities. There's going to be some people from Full Health there and from Saved by the Bell there, as well as Priscilla Presley. So I'm going to have a lot of content, hopefully some celebrity interviews and some pictures and videos, and hopefully you'll be able to check them out, Marlene.
Oh, yes, that sounds amazing. Those are my people. The Comic-Con people. I'll be at San Diego Comic-Con at the end of July.
Yes, that's a big one too. End of July or August, I think.
Yes. It's July 24th is the day that I'll be there, because with Autism and Entertainment, we're screening a mini documentary about our friend and collaborator Danny Bowman, Love on the Spectrum cast member and fan favorite. So we made a 5-minute documentary about her. It'll be in the film festival, and then we'll have a panel afterwards. So looking forward to that. But any con is a good con. There's so much.
This will be my first one, but hopefully one day you'll get to come to the Niagara Falls one.
Yeah.
Yes, hopefully. And it's like 220,000 square feet. It's like huge.
Oh.
It's huge, and I put in for a media pass, and the gentleman approved me, so I'm going to be going down next Friday. It's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but I'm just going to go down Friday and cover it for 7 hours. But I'm excited, and hopefully one day I'll be able to do the San Diego Comic Con as well.
Yes. So. And then, yes, good times will ensue. It's quite a sight to behold. I think any con, there's an electric atmosphere, because people are so excited to see their favorite celebrities and the nostalgia factor and all of that. But San Diego, I think, is the granddaddy of them all.
But the one in Niagara Falls is pretty big too, and I'm looking forward to it. So, but hey, Marlene, before we get our guests on tonight, how's Blanchie doing?
She's fine. She's right here, my co-pilot and soulmate. She's napping at the moment. She's 17 and a half years old.
Wow. She's a senior, a very senior.
But she doesn't know it. She still has the spirit of a much younger lady. So, but she does need her rest, her beauty sleep.
Yes.
So that's what she's doing right now, which is fine, because it's better for this to be quiet and a little bit calmer than earlier in the day.
Well, Marlene, I want to say thank you for coming on tonight, episode 5, and for arranging these guests. Would you like to introduce our guests as I bring them on?
Oh, I'm so excited about our guest tonight. And you did a great job teasing the intro with the beautiful background, which is the logo for the Farco Toy Company. We have the Farco of Farco Toy Co. Joe Farco is one of our guests, toy inventor and intellectual property attorney. And also Vadim Govorov, making an encore appearance, for a good reason, because he is a collaborator of Joe, and they're going to talk about this extraordinary partnership that's come about and how it's unfolding. Welcome, Joe and Vadim.
Hi, Chris and Marlene. Thank you for having me.
The pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you so much for both coming on and making some time out of your busy schedules.
Of course.
Well, Joe and Vadim, Joe, I'm going to ask you first. How did you come about meeting Vadim and also Marlene Sharp, my co-host?
So we are all mutual friends of a very, very, very dear person who I could never speak even more fondly enough, Mr. Richard Gottlieb, who was with Global Toy Experts and Global Toy News. And Richard is sort of the common person that brought us all together. And I guess in some ways that we looking at it today, I guess it was for a good reason. It's always nice to meet good people through good people. And Richard was among one of the finest. And I was very privileged and happy to have known him for many, many years. And in a lot of ways, a lot of things that I've learned along with him have inspired me and have helped to bring the Farco Toy Co. to where it is today. So for that reason, I'm indebted, but also delighted because I get to meet all of you.
Yes, Richard Gottlieb, really a legend in the toy business. He was a frequent fixture on a number of documentaries and news programs about trends in the toy industry and the history of toys and so forth. And all three of us got to know him separately, but he introduced Vadim and me a few years back, and then we started collaborating, and then we discovered Joe as part of the Global Toy News ecosystem, and we just all hit it off. So Global Toy News is a publication of the toy industry. So a lot of executives and manufacturers of toys and retailers and distributors read it for toy news. And so I guess maybe the general public might take a look at it every now and then, but it's really targeted towards the professionals in the business. And so Vadim and Joe and I have all collaborated on pieces for Global Toy News for a while, and Richard Gottlieb had started this while he was alive. He passed away, sadly, in 2023.
Wow. Hey, Marlene, before we did our show tonight, I was looking back at our past Small Talk podcast. Vadim was on our show before, but it was September 24th, 2024. It's been almost 2 years. Where has the time gone?
Wow. Vadim, could that be 2 years ago? I can't believe it.
Are you guys lost my phone number or something? Well, yeah, what happened?
Well, you're way overdue for a return visit because so much has happened since then.
All right, I'm here.
Yeah. Well. So Vadim was on our show previously talking about Rubber Ninja, which is a character that he's created and built a graphic novel around it, and also some animation, some stories. And Vadim is a commercial diver himself, and these stories about Rubber Ninja are his life's work, lightly fictionalized and put into graphic novel form. And so we've been publishing it as in installments for a while now, and it's been gaining a following. And Joe, recognized the commercial viability of this whole enterprise that Vadim started, and that leads us to where we are today. The collaboration of Vadim and Joe and the evolution of Rubber Ninja.
Joe, can you explain to our audience? Yeah, Joe, can you explain to our audience what an IP attorney entails in the legal profession of lawyers and for trademarks and patents and all that, which is very interesting to me.
Certainly. So when people used to, and Chris just used the term IP for folks at home, that means intellectual property. So it's short. So typically folks who do intellectual property law can do several different types of what we call intellectual property. There's things called patents for inventions, copyrights for creations, music, artwork, like what Vadim does. and as well as what you, Chris, and Marlene both do. That type of content will be copyright protected. And then there's trademark for the logos, which you can see the Farco Toyco behind us. It's not yet registered, but we have some common law use. So essentially, it's basically just like your property is outside your front step or outside your home or the lease you have. Same thing applies to intellectual things that can't be held in your hand completely. Although, as we know, some inventions, toys, for example, are a type of intellectual property that you can hold. So, but the concept, the patents, the copyrights, the trademarks, these things are really these are ideas, things that are kind of captured on paper, but they themselves are kind of in the ether. So I handle those types of things to help people get these types of protection. I also, go to court to help people vindicate themselves, or, again, gain some sort of relief in the event that someone is using something that they shouldn't. So that's the type of thing I practice. I have an engineering degree and a science degree. I have a robotics mechanical engineering degree, and I have a master's in pharmaceutical chemistry and drug science. And while I don't use the latter so much, I certainly use the former for clients who want to do toys, whether to make them, build them, or both.
Wow, Joe, I had no idea. So many degrees. How many is that? I lost count halfway through.
I get tired thinking of it, but but to be doing something fun like this, I guess it will be years well spent. It just shows everybody that while you put in the hard work, you can still have fun with it. And I think, to me, I've been able to do that. I'm very fortunate, and I like to think that people around me will see me be happy in what I do, and there's always things to be learned. Whatever I've learned, over two some odd decades, 2.5 decades ago, I'm still learning every day. So I'm again, it's a great profession, and I find it to be rather something different all the time.
Joe, how much has social media and the internet, even the past 30 years, and with social media the last 15 years, how has that changed it for you as an attorney as well?
Well, social media comes with a whole new paradigm for how information is disseminated, marketing in and of itself as a form of interpersonal communication and solicitation of ideas of this intellectual property. And it also creates a lot of new concerns about, exchange of ideas. Who's coming up with this? Who's collaborating? Is this free to use? Did so-and-so own this first? Did you take someone else's post? Did you give proper attribution to this particular person? Influencers are donning the garb of a celebrity without any of the associated costs of having to deal with the Hollywood atmosphere. Although I will say that doesn't seem to be the easiest job, so I'm not downplaying the work that they have done. But I think social media in the legal space creates all new type of a whole new area for exploration, and it does, like anything, the law has to evolve with the changing times as it's done. Some cases better than others.
Joe, what advice would you give to entrepreneurs, especially someone like myself who's self-taught, but I'm also have my own media company? Would you recommend me? And I do a lot of content creating on social media and have my own branding and marketing. Would you recommend me at some point seeing an IP attorney at some point?
So what I will certainly recommend. One thing I will recommend is do not rely on AI or LegalZoom or some person that you met online at Starbucks. I would certainly try to find someone that has the relevant experience that can aid you in the types of things that you're speaking. And if they don't have that experience, they should be kind enough and wise enough to say that they don't have it, but they could recommend someone to you. And if not, they could tell you what type of person you would need. From my standpoint, as an entrepreneur, business owner, inventor, IP owner myself, and an IP attorney, I look at my relationship with all my clients, I think, a little bit differently. Most lawyers, you'll go in, go to work, go home, and that's it. But for me, I understand that a lot of everyone else, you'd go back home and you're thinking to yourself, you want to protect these things, but it costs money, and you have to figure out what's important. and where's the next dollar going to go? So I feel it. I feel it because I'm in the same space. And regardless of the fact that I could get my own IP and protections and such, I still I could sympathize because everything else, marketing, investing in equipment, trying to go out and make those connections with people, doing the boots on the ground or grassroots growth of your own brand. That's something that, well, I do as a lawyer, but for me as a business owner, and since my clients tend to have businesses or some entrepreneurial effort, you want to find, even if it's not me, though I'm glad to help whomever. The point is that you want to find someone who's going to be relatable. So they're not going to, if you need a hammer to hit in your proverbial nail, you don't want an attorney that's going to say, okay, listen, I got this gigantic jackhammer, and it's going to cost you X. And I'm using these analogies to just draw out that sometimes you might need something not as severe monetarily, and sometimes you might not need it at all. It may not, either the cost of engaging a particular route may not be worth it to you. So certainly speaking with somebody, getting multiple opinions, I always tell my clients, you're happy, again, don't use AI, but you're happy to go get second opinions. And I say that, folks, not because I have an aversion to AI. It's just that when it comes to legal advice, you're relying on a machine that a bunch of algorithms that are picking up, whatever it's scraping. So if it scrapes the wrong stuff, you're going to get the wrong, garbage in, garbage out, sort of cliche. But I would suggest that to anybody, including you, Chris, and obviously always happy to have that discourse with people. And I don't charge for initial consultation. That's crazy. I tell my clients, I want you to call me when you have a problem. I want you to tell me what's up. Good news, bad news. But, if you call me up and you're on the clock, it means you're probably not going to call me as much. It's just a silly thing. But I know I don't want to speak for everybody. I typically don't do that. And some people, it's maybe because of their own experiences. Again, I don't dissuade anybody from going with whomever, but just do your due diligence. That meaning, get multiple opinions before you go down any path, because it's an expensive endeavor. It's a hard endeavor, as you know.
Joe, before I let Marlene talk for a couple minutes here, wanted to ask you a question. Everything now is technology. You're not really in the States anymore. It's really international. Do you have international clients as well? You just in the States?
Absolutely. Yes. I have clients outside the United States. I even have clients a lot of them in China, in fact. And what I'll say is that the world is now, it's no different in size, but our technology has brought us all closer together. So I believe that the good news is that we could all learn more from each other. There's more exchanging of ideas. The bad news is that word travels fast. So you got to be careful with whom you share this information, because just like you shout over the megaphone something, or if you're exchanging your ideas or telling people this, you got to be careful, because you never know on whose ears it falls and who decides, hey, that sounds really good, let me try that too. So all the more reason to be careful. Do your due diligence. I said it before regarding your legal advice. I just, in general, just double check, triple check, and try to find good people. I guess that's a pretty easy standard to try and apply. Hard to apply, but easy standard to follow. Is just try to find good people, whatever services they provide.
You're up, Marlene.
So Vadim, what's going on? Were you diving today?
Yes.
Were you underwater? What happened?
Well, nothing happened.
Okay, maybe
that's a good thing.
Very uneventful dive, yeah. But we're doing very important things. You see those gates? I'll show you a picture maybe later. The locks where the ships come through, they're massive. And when they are closed and open, the manatees, it's a holy cow of Florida, like a manatee. You can't touch a manatee. Yeah, so the manatee, if it ever gets there and gets pinched, it's a disaster. So the sensors in there telling you that something's coming by and the gates cannot close. The sirens will go off and they will stop. So the manatee or any other creature will not get hurt. But environment and all, we have to check it regularly. So we go like from lock to lock right now, traveling through Okeechobee, and gonna end up in Cape Canaveral next week. So that's what we're doing,
So Vadim specializes in underwater construction and repair and search and rescue and salvage. And pretty much if it needs to be done underwater, Vadim can do it. And he's in Florida, but he spent many years in New York. And his adventures of Rubber Ninja are all based on the true adventures that he had as a commercial diver. So Joe found that interesting and decided he wanted to make a toy line around it. How's that going, Vadim? Your collaboration with Joe. Do you want to say a few words about that?
Yeah. Yes. So, as you, I don't know, you probably, Marlene, you saw. I tried to work myself into the a couturier position. I'm gonna make a wetsuit for the little figurine.
Yes, right.
For the So so I'm practicing right now. So I bought some online. Some. It's not Ken. It's not Hasbro. It's not Ken. But it's at the same height and everything. Some dummy from
Yes.
So
right.
So I bought that, and I'm practicing on him to make a wetsuit and a mask and everything. But I wanna ask Joe to if you have any spare, because I wanna make a figurine from clay and connector thing, and then dress him and make this guy as a. Remember, we want to replace Ken for the Barbie.
Right.
So that's the plan. That's a grand plan.
Do I have Connecto? That's a simple question. Of course I do.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know how many I need, but like judging by the size, it's a foot tall, 12 inches, 11.7 or something like that. Mm-hmm. So to make it, it's like if you with your engineering abilities, like how many I need to make like articulated toy, and then.
Yeah, I think, and I'm going to answer that question, but I'll also try, if I may, Chris, to educate the audience a little bit about what you just mentioned. Well, one is definitely check out The Adventures of Rubber Ninja, but what I think is really cool about the idea is that he's a cool character that does really dangerous things. I mean, going underneath the water where you really have to hopefully maintain all the proper equipment. Of course, he's super powered, so he doesn't have all those limitations, but I find the character, as Vadim has shared the story to me, very, very endearing. It's a very cool concept. I think it's definitely new and different. And yeah, I would tell anybody it's a cool character. But the question, of course, is like, in the name and his flexibility and what the character does, putting ball and socket joints to a figurine has its limitations, and I think I had seen that very early on, even as a young boy. I grew up in the greatest decade of toys. I grew up in the awesome 80s. It was also the greatest decade for music, but I'm not going to go there.
70s and 80s.
Well, 70s and 80s definitely had. There was the peak rock was definitely. Totally agree. But,
I agree.
Yeah, but it's going to toys. I will say that I felt that the 80s had just some of the best ideas. In fact, I see modern culture trying to regrind and reuse constantly. I'd love to see new ideas, which, again, makes Rubber Ninja so appealing because he is a new idea. And it's crazy because I don't see a lot of them. But to couple that really new, cool idea and storyline, I think it deserves a new type of toy to help it work. And so Vadim mentioned Connecto. So my Farco Toy Co. makes Connecto. Connecto is a product that I feel was to bring together 3 different types of toys that I felt individually growing up were separate and you couldn't play with. So, for example, we had in the 80s bendable toys. These are basically obsolete. These ones for folks and kids at home, the parents will definitely remember. There's metal wires in here. They make them bend. And this is a Dungeons and Dragons Chimera. But I will say the issue I had growing up is that this guy couldn't work on anything, couldn't really balance. And once these metal wires broke, this thing was kaput. So then Vadim was fiddling around with Ken the doll and, other, figurines, dolls and figurines, they move. This is an old 80s type Godzilla. It's rotational joints. Some, G.I. Joe had ball and socket. The Transformers had screws and bolts. So, right. The problem with these were, if I wanted Godzilla to scratch his nose, just couldn't do it. And by the way, this tail that you see in all I'm a big Godzilla fanatic. This tail could actually never make anything other than this U. even though it's a tail, and you would think, hey, maybe you could, in all the movies. So you're forced to do some type of imagination and make it come to life. Now, of course, then you have, now they are the star performer, I think, among all toys. I'm not going to offend anybody by saying this, but then there's Lego. Really cool. But every kid will know, if you take this guy and you want to fight Godzilla, this guy is going to fall apart. And by the way, if I go to the scratch, make him try to reach his hand around, it will break off. And that's okay, and it will break apart. So I said to myself, why do they all have to be separate? Why can't they be together? Because they make a better toy. So what we started, Connecto became, Connecto as the concept is a posable, bendable building block. So what we have here is an example of it. This is what comes in our Connecto set, which you'll see here.
Cool.
So you can see completely new, different look, but inside you could see that this piece bends. So I can take the lovable minifigure and make them do whatever I want. In fact, this will hold up. This could hold up the Godzilla, and it could also make figurines. Right? Say like what? Well, like for example, a figurine that won't fall apart like a Lego. Now this guy here is made with Connecto. He has posable arms, posable legs, and now because of the posable metal, this guy, when you hit into him, he stays together, does not break apart, and he can scratch his nose like that.
Very important. Yes,
very important. But the point though is that this was just kind of what I was aiming at, and then when Vadim came along with Rubber Ninja, I said, well, this guy, I'm stuck using generic building blocks that you could find anywhere, right? But I said, because I have my engineering background, I said, well, why don't I just build Rubber Ninja? Instead of making these bricks, I could just make this arm Rubber Ninja's arm, and this leg his leg. And in fact, and I think you might have had it on here at the broadcast, that's what we've done to date. So next up is to do the prototypes, but basically Connecto can make really, I mean, Rubber Ninja I thought was a perfect start because it's new and no one could ever claim that. But yes, could someone, for example, make a Barbie that could actually like bend her knees with Connecto? Yes. Can you make Transformers that don't need screws and bolts? Of course. And can you make G.I. Joe that won't have its legs break off? Of course not. If you could do that with Connecto, you can make it happen. But, those are all old ideas that have now been done. I think almost all of them are on their 15th or 20th iteration. But Rubber Ninja is one of a kind. And I think for him, given that he's got this flexibility power, what better way to exemplify that power than to use a posable, bendable building block? And part of it is that we can make Rubber Ninja work in the most popular universe of toys in Lego, but where there's lots of like little fish characters and scenes you could build. But I could also make Rubber Ninja as tall as a Barbie, because the Connecto allows for that that modular building. I mean, this character here is, this is just from 5 Connectos and a bunch of blocks.
Oh, wow.
This thing could fit in maybe 2 of these tubes. So what I love about Connecto, and especially with Rubber Ninja, someone's going to open the box and see a box maybe this big, and they're going to say, oh my gosh, you buy a Lego box that big, the toy's about that big. You buy a box of Connecto this big, the Connecto, this guy's huge. Rubber Ninja be even bigger. And I like that because, Rubber Ninja definitely thinks he can move in on the boring Ken doll. And I said, hey, Vadim, let's make that happen because, again, Ken will be doing this, and Rubber Ninja could hold his hand, he could break dance, he could swim, and being that you could, with the posable metal wire of Connecto, he could actually put him in the in your tub, and he'll go in, he'll stay there.
He can put his arm around Barbie. He could do this.
He could actually hug her without going like this. So
exactly.
Everybody will have their own little personal scuba diver, plumber, little Rubber Ninja, yeah.
Yep.
For all purposes.
And the thing about the Connecto, the posing of it is unique. Every person can put him in any position and it's, to me, as a unique character, he'll I think it would be beneficial for him to have the unique ability to pose, and certainly, for people to see that, this concept of Connecto is a real one. It could transform many of these old toys and reintroduce them. Me personally, I like new ideas, but if it, so in the toy industry, as you may have come to see, some people are like, hey, look, if it works and it sells, you keep doing it. And like I said, maybe you could finally have a breakdancing Barbie, like a real breakdancing Barbie, or like a Ninja Turtles that could do all sorts of crouching poses and so forth. So yeah. Anyway, I think what better way to show it off than through the ultimate sea-bound showman himself is the Rubber Ninja.
Joe, any chance you could do a Marlene Sharp one? Or myself?
Yeah,
seriously, you got to market it. Marketing and branding is huge nowadays.
You could, if I had 3D scans, you could 3D print and anything, and you could just put it onto the Connecto. I mean, there certainly is future to it. Our company. I mean, I'm doing it for real. We literally will ask people. We tell people, if you design for us and they get enough likes and people want that product, you'll become a Farco hero, we call it, and their product will be sold by the company. Because I see so much imagination and creativity. There's no way I could hire enough people to do that. Moreover, it's like, if the whole public wants something, and it's not objectionable, of course, why would I disabuse people? Why would I just bring that to life for them? Because if everyone likes it, let's just do it. And that's kind of my thought about it. Those strictures of modern toys where a bunch of business people, I think I'm like really dating myself, like an 80s thing, they're sitting around with cigars going, oh yeah, kids are going to love this. Like, the shows that mock that stuff, like Key and Peele did the Gremlins too, which I thought was funny skit, by the way. But I will say, I just, there's so much out there. And it goes to your point, Chris, before. It's this global community. To think for a second, any one group of us with a department titled R&D for toys, for entertainment, for things that bring children, people, adults alike joy. Why relegate it to just this group of people? No one could possibly know that. So I leave it at Farco Toy Co. We want everyone to be a Farco hero. Eventually, I'm going to do, I want to reward people for less internet time. I want to reward kids for good grades with that. I really want to I want to use the company for good. And, it's a dream of mine. And, using, having a character like Rubber Ninja that's, he's doing wholesome things. He's witty. And it's not just, regurgitated, one-liners that came up back in the 80s and 90s. So I think I want the people who are, engaging my company to see it as a source of something good, and not because, I'm a father. I got 3 kids. I mean, I think it's just about time that maybe one of these companies, instead of leaning into this digital abyss that a lot of, people, let alone children, are falling into, let the Connecto be the way to climb out of it. And I could only hope that I could at least achieve that at a bare minimum. But so anyway, a lot of altruistic goals on my part, but I think with Vadim, we definitely have something that will do at least something to give the world something new and something unique. And I think, frankly, because Vadim will go. I mean, when Vadim told me Rubber Ninja was going to move in on Barbie, that that to me shows you kind of the awesomeness of Vadim and his ideas, because that's a tall order. Just like, some people say, not that it's true, that like Connecto, because we have our own building blocks that are, patent pending. The Connecto is patented. So, back in the 50s, Lego had patents. Most of them expired. Now, Farco Toy Co has them. It's almost like the roles have reversed. And now you have this power of this product. And then you have Rubber Ninja, who's like, destroying all the barriers, where it's like, well, Barbie was off limits to any other toy. And now Rubber Ninja says no to that. I think, to me, we got to push that envelope, because I think a lot of times change is good, and it's at the end of the day, it's entertainment. That's what we're all doing, and it's just an entertaining character. It's nice to be part of that.
Also, don't forget about the drama it's going to create. The drama.
Right. Well, we know from reality TV, right?
Speaking of Connecto,
what's that?
Speaking of Connecto, I have a special video I want to play. Marlene, is that okay if I play a special video?
Oh, cool.
Okay.
Please play it.
It's a mystery video. Just bear with me 1 second, and we're going to play it right now.
This is pretty fun over here. Put it into the minifigures, and yeah, you can hold up the stuff too. One of those building blocks I was saying before.
Joe, thoughts on this video and your website?
So yes, where you could find us on that video, including others as well, on www.farcotoyco.com or connectoset.com or connecto.toys. Yeah, I think, to me, we try to showcase as best we can how to use this product, what it is, what it does, and on the website you'll see our friend here, but something that Marlene has seen in the past, that's coming out is this Connecto jewelry. So this set makes wearable jewelry that's customizable for whatever size person it's to fit. So we have that. So very nice. And then,
you have one for me?
Oh, Chris, if you want, sure. I mean, we can make hats, crowns, whatever you like. I mean, this tiara. And then we saw that scene with how all these things work, and here is just another example of what the Connecto can do. So
this is amazing.
Yeah, it's certainly, to me, has a lot of uses, and the problem for me is I need a lot of help tapping into all of it. But we found you can make DNA with it, enzymes. There's all sorts of really cool educational stuff that you can do with it, in addition to all the sort of neat enhancements you could do to your Legos build. So I feel like or building blocks that you use. So I'm just excited to see what people will do with it. And certainly, there's definitely other ideas and other things that you can we provide some examples that we've been able to do on our side, but we look forward to seeing what especially the master builders think and we'll be able to do with this product. And that's what I'm really, that's kind of exciting for me to see what comes next. It takes time, but in due time and in good time, things will come. So yeah, I'm happy. Thank you for showing that on your program.
No problem, Joe. I'm going to let Marlene talk, but there's one other question I wanted to ask you this. Production. What kind of production do you have with the Rubber Ninja and generally, besides the production part of it, is there other companies kind of coming out similar to yours now with Connecto competition?
So to answer your first question, right, we're still in the preliminary stage. I mean, it may look, and the video makes it look kind of simple, but these things are extremely complex. So the Connecto is compatible with all the major building block brands, and it works within them. In fact, in Lego parlance, it's called in system. But once you bend it, then it's out of system, which is kind of cool for the other reasons I think I've discussed. So as far as Rubber Ninja is concerned, part of it is making the character look the right way and to Vadim's liking and approval using 3D drawing, which I'm single-handedly doing with a lot of with a muse by my side. This is my Rubber Ninja to help me in the evenings.
I need one. I need one.
We all do.
That's that guy. He makes them.
That's amazing.
But the Rubber Ninja, we're making him work with the building block system, so that takes time. But beyond that, once we start doing some prototypes, it takes no time at all. I have various connections. There's a lot of really great, helpful people that I know, a lot overseas, who could bring these ideas to life. And that's, to me, once we think we have the right thing, then we could set it in motion. So that on the production end, that's part of the due diligence, finding the right partners, being realistic, understanding how much these things may cost you before going down that rabbit hole, because it'd be a rabbit hole that, dollar bills are flying out the back while you fall. So I always tell people just to be mindful of that going into these things. But again, I give legal advice, but as an entrepreneur myself, I can tell you I try to avoid that. And I never want to be the cost center, but certainly Rubber Ninja, we're still, it's a work in progress, but when it comes out, we want it to be a splash.
What do you think is the next step in the Rubber Ninja Connecto journey? What would the public be able to see something on your website soon, or what are you able to reveal the secrets?
Well, I think we need to build the pieces for Rubber Ninja to bring him to life first. But then once that's done, there shouldn't be an issue with providing that, or putting it up. I mean, to show everyone how you build him. On the Farco Toyco website, you'll see how you build a robot with the starter set. You could do the same thing for Rubber Ninja. I mean, anything that we can really draw now, given the technology, we're able to show people kind of how it comes together. So once we have the right pieces, Marlene, they could just come together. It's a matter of making sure that it lives up to both what Vadim wants and also make it that next cool action figure. And that reason why it's taking a while is because I want to make sure that it operates well. And again, it's going to be a rather large toy. Ken is not a small figure, but it will definitely be something that it'll have some appeal, because it's going to, with all Connecto, it'll come in a small package, but it makes, like you saw on the website, you can make something that goes above your head. And it just comes out of this small tube. Same thing's going to be for Rubber Ninja, but it will, Rubber Ninja is going to be probably a larger item. So yeah, we look forward to that. I think the packaging will, maybe we talked about having parts of the stories. Maybe you collect different scenes. So yeah, all that's kind of, in the mix of what we want to have done, so that we can bring him to life with enough atmosphere, and people could have those cool adventures with him that Vadim's drawn, and actually bring them to life.
Will any of them be pre-assembled, or will they all be construction toys for people to put together at home?
So I don't think any of them will be. So, and that's an interesting question, which, obviously when I was coming up with Connecto, I did not realize it. There was, again, when I was trying to come up with ways to figure these things out, it was in the 80s. So it's like completely spendthrift. Everyone's like, throw money without caution. As we got along in years, you could see people moving more and more towards environmental friendliness and accountability, and even to increase some of that, like, some sort of intellectual endeavor with your playthings. So now where that is currently, Connecto, I think, kind of flows really well with that, because when you build your action figure, it's kind of a new thing. I mean, an action figure that won't fall apart in your hands like a building block one, and one that'll actually move, not like the figures that we have. So Rubber Ninja would come disassembled, but the user could build him into whatever, but it's also very tall too. So you think about, your product, right? So do I make a 12, almost 12-inch tall box to put them in and spend money on labor, or just let someone build them together? Maybe someone wants to put his flipper on his arm. I don't know. I mean, I don't know why they would do that, but maybe you could do an episode of Vadim where he hits like a scramble ray or something, or like the starfish scramble ray. The starfish, I know if you lose one of their tentacles, you cut them off at the center, they'll grow back. But I mean, Vadim's told me so many like cool ideas to weave in both learning about the water with this character, and then the character, if you build the character, so you're learning what the character does, you're learning about the ocean, you're learning about a career that only unique humans like Vadim could possibly have, literally looking for treasure, instead of just dreaming about it. And then you have a character that, to make him come to life, you got to build him first. And to me, I think it's like this learning upon learning. So we would want to do all that in a way that the packaging will reflect that, and either get through Vadim stories or say like, did you know? So that's all kind of stuff, food for thought at the moment. But once we have something, certainly I'll put it on the website. It's gonna be cool.
Joe, I want to ask you this, and Vadim, I'm going to put you on the spot. How would you describe yourselves as entrepreneurs?
Champions.
Champion?
We are the champion. We are the champion.
Modest. That's what you're saying. Very humble and modest.
Constantly making mistakes, but trying to make the right ones only. So it is a learning experience always. So yeah, I just gotta be hopeful.
And how important is it getting the branding and marketing aspect of it correct too?
Vadim, did you want to talk to your side first?
No.
May have little words. I mean, you need, the brand has to have that recognizability. It's got to be something that people could catch on to and resonate with them. It all comes down to I think it's a luck of the draw. I can't say there's a formula. I haven't seen one. Otherwise, everyone would be following it.
That's true.
So it's just I'm hoping for being in the right place at the right time, and that there's some type of legacy to the creativity that I try to bring to the world. But at the very least, I did it. And, my kids got to experience it with me, my wife, and I feel like that's something that I got to do in this life. That's fun. So yeah, my brand is to just be honest and try to put forward the best foot, do the right thing by people, whether you call it Connecto, Farco, or Rubber Ninja. The idea is to try and further goodness and cohesiveness, and bring this now undeniably global interconnected world in a way that's closer, because I think we just do better together.
Any plans, Joe, for a book in the future?
About what?
About your education, about your experiences, about Connecto?
I've living it was enough for me. If someone wants to write about it, they want to do a wiki on it, I guess maybe. I don't know. The funny thing is, Chris, growing up as a little boy in Brooklyn, right? Living not well, living kind of just within means, and I don't see myself as anything other than a guy that I just persevered. That's it. There's nothing. I don't think there's anything. My wife will tell me otherwise, but I think anyone could do what I do if they put their mind to it with the circumstances. I do believe I've been fortunate to meet very good people, but there's a lot of good people out there. I don't think I met all of them. So I don't think I'm really anything special in that way. But my clients will say otherwise. My folks who have worked in collaborating will say otherwise. But I don't think it's for myself to write some sort of autobiographical whatever. That's not my style.
What about a docu-series? What would you say to that?
About what?
About your life's journey, your hero's journey, your collaboration with Vadim, buddy docu-series. How about that?
Look, I think it's an improbable path that I took to end up what I'm doing. I don't know many other patent lawyers that do what I do. I don't know either. I don't know, but not, again, it's to each their own. Some people would rather go out and hit the best 18 holes of golf, and that's how they're feeling invigorated, and that's all for them. This was just something that I think it's just finding that dream and chasing it, maybe in a circuitous path to get there. So I don't know. Like I said, if someone asks me and I have time, I'm happy to oblige. I don't know. I feel like even when I do stuff about myself, I'd rather have the product speak to it. And it's not like a faux humility. It's just that you'll see me on my website. I'm not complaining that, people see me as Joe the lawyer, but I really want the people to see the Connecto for a lot of the good virtues that it can do. I want to see how the Rubber Ninja is to me an exemplar of the power of this thing. And they're going to say, like, why not this person? Why not that toy? Because that's what I liked. I like picking this underdog. I guess I lived an underdog life and hanging in there, and who knows how it might turn out really, really great and wonderful. So I don't know. I think they've done that story a million times, but sure, I guess if someone wants to ask me, I guess I could talk about what I did to get here. It'll be a labor for me because it's not all peaches and cream, but happy to have that discourse, I guess.
You guys can do a Rubber Ninja Connecto podcast.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm going to be talking the whole time. Vadim's going to just say, "Okay, Joe."
No, this is no. The Rubber Ninja. I know. I said the champions. That I truly believe. I have a very good feeling about all this cooperation. Because as Marlene introduced me and Joe, I had a really good feeling about it. We just, somehow we just, you feel it. The situation. And as a Rubber Ninja, yes, of course, I wanted to tell the story. With this little character because he's basically could. It's a nice addition to because among all these superheroes and right, why not? He's not like superhero, but he can do things, and he can education. I aiming for the educational stories, serious for kids, because of the traveling and doing stuff underwater. It's a beautiful world, and I just and my experience, 25 almost 30 years experience of as a commercial diver.
Amazing.
I got some skills, yeah. It's like a 1,001 night,
But you think about it, majority of the world is under the water. And that's where, Vadim's seen more of seen more of this earth than a lot of us have. So I feel in a way it's intriguing, like this character is more worldly, Superman could fly around the earth, or these characters warp from here to there, but Rubber Ninja's, his world is both above. I mean, I like how his struggles are just getting himself used to how things are out of the water. And I find that very intriguing because it's almost like for the reader, it's almost backwards, right? For a superhero to have any troubles at all. But I find like, I always found that humanizing the character makes it closer to the reader who is a human. But in a time where every character can do every single thing, it becomes difficult. It's almost like a pantheon of infallible beings that all have the same story arc. And I like this Rubber Ninja. It's like the water. It's calm. He has a different story that it is. And that's what life is too. I feel like we make these tempests, we make these hurricanes, and that's because of how we are as human beings. But at bottom, at equilibrium, I think a lot of times things are really calm, or I'm not saying they're not special, but it's just we're all trying to make our waves, or puddles, whatever body of water we want to choose as an allegory to our lives. And I think that's a great way to showcase it with the Rubber Ninja.
Yeah. I agree.
Joe and Vadim, as we wrap the show up in a couple of minutes, any plans that Rubber Ninja can eventually be a TV series or even a movie in the future?
Yeah, why not? It could be a new Harry Potter,
Yeah, and so much more relatable because kids can aspire to be Rubber Ninja and actually achieve, get closer to being that then they could be Harry Potter, because Harry Potter relies on all these gadgets and spells and supernatural kinds of things. But Rubber Ninja,
Rubber Ninja, I can raise the ship from the water.
It's things that kids could actually do, and people have done in the past, and I think that's aspirational for kids.
Marlene, I know you have to get going in a minute. Do you have any final thoughts and comments before you wrap it up? And then we'll wrap this show up with these guys in 2 minutes.
My dream is to have a regular weekly meeting with Joe and Vadim where we just brainstorm ideas about Rubber Ninja, and we move the like the football down the whatever. I don't know football. I don't know why I picked that analogy, but we move towards our goal like a little bunny rabbit burrowing through a football field, I suppose. And that's what I would love to do, is to be part of the process and see how the progress goes, and then maybe document that in some form. People love behind the scenes content, and this is really an interesting collaboration as well as a friendship. I've seen Joe and Vadim get closer through the months that we've been working together, and it's really beautiful. So that's my dream. So by speaking it, hopefully it will manifest.
Say it 3 more times today.
Okay, duly noted. But feel free to go on and have some male bonding time without me as I sign off. Don't let me stop.
Marlene. Oh, by the way, Marlene, I'll be covering another food festival this weekend, a taco Mexican cheesecake festival. So make sure you check out my social media pages for pictures of different cheesecakes and Mexican food. I love being a food content creator now.
Oh, wow. Godspeed, Chris, and take some antacids.
Raul is a very good chef.
Sure.
They need a female Rubber Ninja, and you guys got to create a female Rubber Ninja.
She's not the mermaid.
Lots of potential there, but I bet there aren't that many female divers. Vadim sends me a lot of photos of his work day and the crew and so forth. I don't see a lot of women in there, but
we have a few. We got a few girls.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, they're good. They're doing good. Yeah.
Well, Marlene,
the other day we were in Miami. We had scientists, scuba diver scientists. The girls came over. I will depict it in my next cartoon. They came in diving and checking like how much damage we did to the seagrass, which manatee eats. The manatee, the holy cow of Florida.
Oh my goodness. Gosh, that's incredible. Somebody who's equally skilled at scientific research and the physicality of just diving and maneuvering throughout that underwater atmosphere. That's incredible.
Yep. It's a beautiful world out there. I wish more people could see what I see. It will be a different world for sure.
Well, that's what we're going to hope to try to do with Connecto and Rubber Ninja. Maybe we'll give them at least a little bit of a peek.
Well, Marlene, we're going to let you head out, but I want to say thank you for arranging this show with Joe and Vadim, and hopefully we'll see you at the end of June on my birthday for our episode 6.
Yes, sounds good. Happy early birthday, and thank you, gentlemen, for
thank you, Marlene. Have a good night.
Thanks, Marlene.
Take care.
See you soon. And Joe and Vadim, if you guys get 1 or 2 more minutes, just a couple more quick questions. Sure. Marlene, we'll talk to you soon. Thank you. As we wrap this show up, what is a fun fact about Farco Toy Co. and yourself that the audience might not know about you guys? A fun fact each.
I have a severe case of arachnophobia.
I wish I could fly. I always wanted that. My kids always ask me what superpower you want. I always answer emphatically that I wish I could fly, but then I think about it, I'm not sure whether I really want to though. With the
for me it would be the Flash, the speed.
Yeah, see, I would hit into something. You really take that power and you put it into New York City. And you think to yourself, do you really want to run that fast? You'll hit into someone.
And finally, guys, where can our audience follow you both on social media? Joe, your website, and the best way of contacting you if somebody's got questions, Joe, about trademarks and patents and all that.
Sure. So you follow us on any of the big platforms, Instagram or TikTok. We're on Facebook. You just look for Farco Toyco, one word. And then if you want to reach out to me for anything in particular, if you so choose, my email is jfarco@Bochner, BOCHNER.law, and happy to help you out if you need the help. And if I can't do it, I'll hopefully try to find someone or know someone that can.
And Vadim?
Yes.
What's the best way of people to follow you on social media?
I'm on the LinkedIn and Facebook. That's all I have.
Okay.
Facebook, Clay World Inc. On the Facebook, Clay World Inc. And my name, Vadim Govorov, on the Facebook. Yeah, that's all I have.
Well, Vadim, I was going to say, go ahead, Joe.
I was going to say, that's all you need if you want to find them.
Yeah, or contact Marlene. She knows how to. She got some other stuff. I don't know. Yeah. I'm a digital idiot, so I don't even involve in that stuff.
Well, I'm not very good at graphics and designing, so I've learned. I wear 10 different hats when I do, but there's some things I'm not very good at, and I learned to step away from it. When you're an entrepreneur, sometimes you have to learn. You know what you can do and what you can't do, and sometimes graphic designs, I don't have patience for that. So, but hey, I want to say thank you to both of you guys. I would like to have you guys have an open invite to come back on the show again, maybe closer to when this project's finished. And when it is finished, are you guys going to obviously test it out in California, but will it go internationally at some point?
Let's see where the tide takes it. Sure. Why not?
Why not? Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the Small Talk podcast tonight, and continue success. And give me a little bit of time tonight, and I will send you the video, the audio, and a couple reels and clips as well, and I'll tag you guys in.
Thanks, Chris. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And Joe, what's your website again, to plug your website before we wrap this up again?
So it's www.farcotoyco.com and www.connectoset.com.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Vadim, and thank you so much, Joe. Continue success, and we'll definitely have you back on the show again in the future.
Thanks so much, Chris. You have a great evening. Thank you for having us.
You too. You're welcome. Thanks, Joe.
Good night.
Thanks, Vadim. Talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Just want to say thank you to Marlene Sharp and my guest tonight, Vadim Govorov, who's a sculptor, a commercial diver, and the creator of Rubber Ninja. And thank you to Joe Farco from Farco Toyco Company, and he's also an IP attorney out in New York City as well. So thank you to Joe Farco, Vadim Govorov for coming on here tonight, and also to Marlene Sharp. And that's going to wrap up season 4, episode 5, overall number 36 of the Small Talk podcast, which is live on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitch, X, and Instagram. And the Small Talk podcast is also available on audio platforms such as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Good Pods, and wherever podcasts are available. And also, guys, if you want to follow Marlene and myself on social media platforms, Marlene's website is pinkpoodleproductions.com. And Marlene is also on X/Diva Marlene 70, and also the Small Talk Facebook page, Facebook groups 920-23653. Just go to the Small Talk Facebook page and we'll accept you on there as well. And to follow me, I'm on beacons.ai/Chris D. Pame, and you can find me on X at Chris D. Pame on X, and I'm on all social media platforms except Snapchat as well. And as we wrap this show up, if you're a business and a company and you'd like to advertise on the Small Talk podcast, which is a once a month entertainment talk show hosted by Marlene Sharp and myself, you can email me at cpame19@gmail.com, or DM me on my social media pages if you'd like to come aboard and advertise on the Small Talk podcast. We have once a month shows with very diverse guests and topics as well. So if you want to advertise, cpalme19@gmail.com. And as we wrap the show up, guys, my next live with CDP Sports and Entertainment talk show is going to take place on Tuesday. That's Tuesday, June 2nd at 2 p.m. Eastern with my special guest. It's her first appearance. Her name is Pink A Small. She's a podcaster. She's a content creator. And I look forward to talking to her about her content creation and being a podcaster as well. And I'm also working on some more shows. I do have a show coming up on Monday, June 8th at 7 p.m. on Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show with special guest Dave Naylor. He is a TSN CFL NFL insider. So on Monday, June 8th, 7 p.m. Eastern, Dave Naylor, TSN football insider with the NFL, CFL, will join us, and we're going to talk a little bit about the CFL's new TV deal with Bell Media, TSN, and with a live streaming system like Danzas or something. But we're going to talk CFL and also some of the new changes to the CFL and maybe a little NFL as well. And I'm also working on more guests for next week as well. So I want to say thank you to everyone again for watching this show live stream and also on my audio platform. And the Small Talk podcast will be back for season 4, episode 6 at the end of June, which is near my birthday. I'll be 54. And by the way, Marlene's going to be at a San Diego Comic Con in July, and I will be at the biggest one in Canada and one of the biggest in the world, the Niagara Falls Comic Con. I will be at the Niagara Falls Convention Center on Friday, June 5th from 1 p.m. to 8 p.m. And I look forward to doing hopefully some celebrity interviews and taking some pictures and some videos as well. So I'm looking forward to the Niagara Falls Comic Con as well. And also, guys, if you're in Guelph, in the Guelph area, and you want to watch CFL preseason football, the Argos take on Hamilton tomorrow night at Friday, May 29th, 7 p.m. at Alumni Stadium at the University of Guelph. You can get your tickets at griffins.ca. This is the final preseason game of the season for the Argos and Tiger Cats before the regular season starts as well. And that is about it, guys. Again, I want to say thank you to Joe Farkle, a licensed IP attorney, intellectual property attorney, and Vladim Golvarov, a sculptor, a toy maker, and the creator and founder of the Rubber Ninja. Thank you to both those gentlemen for coming on, and to Marlene Sharp. And I'm looking forward to episode 6 of the Small Talk podcast coming up at the end of June as well. And I have a guest lined up as well for that show as well. I hope everybody has a great weekend. And again, thank you to everyone for watching and listening to the Small Talk podcast with Marlene Sharp and Chris Palme. Have a great weekend, guys, and we'll see you back here in a month's time for another edition of the Small Talk podcast.